Hello and welcome to week 6 of the Artist's Way. And today was about recovering this week was about recovering a sense of abundance. And it says this week you would tackle a major creative block: money. You are asked to really look at your own ideas around God, money and creative abundance. So it talked about the great creator, and it asked us to write about the God you do believe in and the God you'd like to believe in your morning pages. And then it was talking about like we act like it's God's fault. I cannot speak actual English, so I'm so sorry. But it says we act like it's God's fault that we didn't go to Europe, take that painting class, or go on that photo shoot. But in truth, it's we, not God, who have decided not to go. Which I highlighted. And I also highlighted that creativity is not and never has been sensible. Why should it be? And why should you be? Which I felt kind of true, because I realised that I've kind of thought like that. And I also did realise that, like, I grew up at a Catholic primary school, so I learned all about like Christianity growing up, but I realised that version, like when I say the word God, that's what I relate it to, whereas like what I guess I believe in now is like, well, I guess like God to me, I think of kind of like a person and like a very powerful, like the way I perceive it, it's like a power, not a power play, but like it's someone with a whole heap of like power. I don't know why or where that comes from. But like in the book, when they're talking about God, which is just meant to mean like whatever source is out there, in my mind when I think of God, I think of that, not the good orderly direction, which is what the book refers to. Like it says, the author talks about God, but you can say good orderly direction whether you believe in something or not, instead of like, you know, stigmatizing. Is that the right word? I don't know. It's kind of feels like complicated in my head, because I just kind of believe, I guess, in a source. Like I think there is something out there, whether it's out there or actually like within yourself. I don't really know what exactly it is. But calling it God for me, it like links back to like my childhood and growing up. And because it's linked to my childhood, like I was taught lessons through like Christianity and like all my morals and everything, which is so good, and I'm so grateful that I learned all those morals. But I do associate it with being sensible and like when I used to be, and like sometimes I catch myself being conscious of like my sins and what's good and what's not good, and I have a definition of that in my head. But a true God, like the ideal God that I would want to believe in, wouldn't discriminate me for what my ego, I guess, is perceiving as a sin. I don't know if that makes sense. But like for instance, doing something silly, like taking time to do silly drawings in a random notebook outside on the grass instead of cleaning my room, you know, like that doesn't seem sensible. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, whoa. Just rambled about that. Anyways, I also highlighted what we really want to do is what we are really meant to do. And I said, wow, like let that sink in. What we really want to do is what we are really meant to do. When we do what we are meant to do, money comes to us. Doors open for us, we feel useful, and work we do feels like play. And then it talks about luxury, and how all too often we become blocked and blame it on our lack of money. It talks about the luxury of time, and the excuse that I should be working side of ourselves that discourages creative pleasures. So in like what I'm saying, instead of me going out and indulging in creativity, I'm like, I should be working or cleaning my room or doing something else that's sensible, you know. And in order to thrive as artists, and one could argue as people, we need to be available to the universal flow. When we put a stop stopper on our capacity for joy and anorectically declining the small gifts of life, we turn aside the larger gifts as well. And then there's a quote from Emma Goldman saying, I'd rather have roses on my table than diamonds on my neck, which I actually do agree with. I am much happier having flowers on my table than I would if I had diamonds on my neck. So anyways. And then it's saying how artist dates are silly. Yes, that's the whole point. Creativity lives in a paradox. Serious art is born from serious play. And then we had to do a counting exercise to write down every nickel we spend. It doesn't matter what it's for, how tiny the purchase, how petty the amount. Petty cash is still cash. And that's just about how discovering how we spend our money. And it said we may want to practice it for a month or longer. And then there's a money madness exercise to complete the following phrases about money, which I did. And then this week I've been very, like, the most slack I've ever been. And I think I've been, which is so weird because I've been the most excited for this chapter because I feel like I have a lot of blocks around money that I really, really want to work through. But there's a reason why they're my blocks, right? So I think I've like, I don't know, like maybe I've subconsciously put up a safety barrier, but every time I go to do the artist, every time I've been going to do the artist wear this week, something else has come up and I'm like, oh no, but I have to do that. That's more important. But is it really, or do you not just want to work through your issues? You know? So, yeah. So, I didn't do these 2 tasks, but I want to get back around to them in the next week, though. So, I did do my morning pages every week. I did stick to that, I will say. I didn't really do my artist day. I did creative things, but they weren't one-on-one. So, I had a really good idea for an artist day, and it was actually perfect for this week. Maybe I'll get to that in a second. No, I'm going to tell you now. There was an art show like around the corner from my house for an art exhibition, and this week's about money. And like, oh my god, I'm just realizing it's talking about accepting freebies when they come into your life. There was an art exhibition around the corner for me, and it was free entry on Saturday, yesterday. And I didn't go because I felt really lightheaded and sick yesterday. Weird. It was like the first time I haven't been working in a week. I haven't had work at all this week because I had a photo shoot today for like headshots and body shots for my full-time dance coursing. So I had that today. So then yesterday I was like getting, like, I got my hair done and stuff done for it. So then I couldn't work, and then I've had like dance things as well, but it was like the first time like I actually had time to like rest yesterday, for the first time in a while. But yeah, well, I had to cancel work because I had to get stuff done for my photo shoot that I wouldn't have had time for, because then I had other commitments, like extra commitments on during the week, like Friday night, which is usually free. I had stuff on, and then anyways, it was a bit of a busy week. But sorry. Ooh, Saturday was the first time I've like stopped for like a long time, and I think I actually felt how sick my body is. And I felt really lightheaded and airy, and I had like a nap for an hour and a half. And I think I don't know why, but I was like trying to get myself to clean my room, but I just needed to rest. And then I gave in, and then I like watched Netflix, which I haven't done like all year really. I don't think I've watched a Netflix show all year. I've watched a movie, but I haven't sat down and like watched like episodes on a show, which is insane. Like, am I okay? And so yeah, I did that, and then I rested, and I had like soup and like tea. Oh my god, I need to have a tea tonight. I'm so all over the place tonight. It's already like it's already 8:40, which is early, but to me I have to get up at like 4 or 5 a.m. so anyways, my point is I was planning to do that for my artist day because I saw it 2 weeks ago, and then there happened to be free entry, and then I didn't do it. But I kind of had an artist day, like at the photo shoot, like playing around with, like, I don't know, poses and stuff, and I don't know, it's not really, I'm just trying to make myself feel better, but I didn't do my artist day. Anyways, one task was to find natural abundance and find 5 pretty or interesting rocks. Second task for natural abundance was pick 5 flowers or leaves, and then clearing to throw out 5 ratty pieces, throw out or give away 5 ratty pieces of clothing. I did not do that. Number 4, creation, bake something. If you have a sugar problem, make a fruit salad. Did not do that either. Communication was the next task. Send 5 postcards to 5 friends. Did not do that either. Then number 6, favorites, list your favorites in the following categories. I did do that. It gave me 10 categories to list my favorite items in. I did do that. Then it said reread the basic principles in page 3. I did do that. Then it said do it once daily, but I didn't do that because I only reread the tasks yesterday. And then it said to read an artist prayer, yours from week 4 or mine on page 226. I did do that. And then it asked me to do it once daily, which I did not do. And then it said acceptance. Accept any, sorry. Number 9 was acceptance, any new flow in your life. Practice saying yes to freebies. I literally read this yesterday and I still didn't go to the art show. Anyways, number 10 was prosperity. Any changes in your financial situation or your perspective on it. Any crazy or even new ideas about what you would love doing. Pull images around this and add to your image file. I haven't even thought about this. So yeah, and I also have not, usually I make these videos after I do my weekly reflection, but I have not do that. But, so I did my morning pages every week, yes. Did I do my artist week? No. Have you considered allowing yourself to do 2? No, I have not considered that. And then did I experience any synchronicity? Well, the synchronicity was the free art show, and I didn't take it. So that was asynchronicity. And then were there any other issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? And there's plenty, which is what I've been talking about in this video. Whew, this is a long one. And then the next one is recovering a sense of connection for week 7. Oh, we turn to this week to the practice of right attitudes for creativity. Huh. That's what next week is. So I didn't even read next week. I meant to read the next week before Monday, which I didn't do. Maybe I'll sit in bed and read that tonight. But yeah, I want to do the tasks still and come back to them after I finish the next week's tasks, I think. Or do them first, I'm not sure yet. But that's my update. It is a really long one this week. Yeah, and I look very different. I've gone from 0 to 100 because I hardly ever wear makeup ever, and especially I never do when I film these videos. Like, I look a bit rough sometimes, but I don't really care. But I'm all dolled up today. But yeah, so that's my weekly update for the Artist's Way. To keep you updated because yeah, a bit sad this week, but that's okay because we learn from our experiences. I'm officially halfway through. Done 6 weeks, 6 weeks to go. Yoo!